Well, with his trademark white suit and the bouquet of red carnations, my next guest was the undisputed sex symbol of the 70s, driving thousands of teenage girls into screaming frenzies wherever he appeared. Well, he had a string of hit songs, a television series, a movie under his belt, but then he just disappeared. Well, he's back, ladies and gentlemen, and he is a well-respected songwriter. Ladies and gentlemen, well, ladies anyway, go crazy for here's Mark, Gonna Make You My Lady, Holden. Oh, the carnations. It's been years. Welcome to Midday, Mark.
Thank you very much, Kerrie-Anne.
I do feel as if I'm back in the 70s now. Tell me, how long have you been living in the United States?
16 years.
Wow.
16 years, yes.
Now, why did you go over there first?
Well, I was actually on my way to Cannes at the film festival. I had Newsfront and Blue File Lady.
Why don't you cut your hair?
Why don't you grow yours? Some grief, some joy.
A man from Atlantic Records had seen me in Australia and said, if you ever come to Los Angeles, look me up. I did. He offered me a record deal. I went there, and for 2 years I made a record that came out and completely stiffed. So that was the end of that. In that period of time, I basically became a songwriter, and you know, I had a couple of years that were a little tough there. And then in '84, I was lucky enough to have a song recorded by The Temptations that became a hit for me. Wow. This song just actually appeared in my head, and I made a little demo of it, and Berry Gordy, the owner of Motown, heard it and recorded it on The Temptations, and it went to #4, and it goes, just a little bit of it goes like this. Ooh, 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 ooh. My lady soul, you are my life. You make me whole. You are my lady soul. You warm my heart when I grow cold.
Oh, yeah, beautiful.
Thank you. Of course, you have to imagine...
The Temptations.
Yes, you have to imagine 5 incredible black men singing that song. And actually, one of the greatest days in my life was the day that I was in the studio and they were recording that, and I had to show them the song, and the 5 of them were standing around in singing those harmonies with me, and it was like, you know, a young lad from Adelaide. That was a wonderful.
Yes,
David Hasselhoff. Yes, I've been making his records for the last few years.
No, I didn't even know he sang.
He does.
He's Mr. Baywatch. You know, the big hunk on the beach. The
yes.
one next door to Pamela Anderson.
Yeah, also Knight Rider.
Yeah.
He's been a great friend of mine, and has really helped me and supported me, and I produce his records.
Has now written 20 international hits and is producing Europe's top-selling singer, American actor David Hasselhoff.
Beach, baby, there on the sand.
Hasselhoff admits Holden is a better singer than he is and laughs at his producer's past.
He's very famous for a very short time in a very small country. But everybody knows him.
But I was hoping I could actually play you a couple of the oldies. Would you like to hear a couple?
Oh, golly gosh, yes! I just think this would be wonderful. Do you take requests? I mean, what do you want to do?
Well, how about this one? I bet you, do you remember this one, girls? Never gonna fall in love again. I don't want to start with someone new, 'cause I couldn't bear to see it end, just like me and you. No, I couldn't bear to feel the pain of remembering how it used to be. Never gonna fall in love again. like you and me.
Oh, Mel, swoon.
And look at this.
Here's a new face on bandstand right now, a guy we predict a big future for. Mark Holden with his new single, Never Gonna Fall in Love Again.
I can't decide who's prettier.
There, aren't you? You've joined us today.
This was another one. You remember this one? I wanna make you my lady, make you my lady. Love is so hard to find, girl. I wanna make you my lady, make you my lady. Then you'll be forever mine, girl.
Woo.
Have you ever been lonely?
That's superb. They're swooning all over the place. See, you've done all that. Let's have a look at you in action. I mean, this is a bit of a flashback, Mark, but you'll love it. Have a look at Mark. Circa 76.
I've been waiting a long time for a girl like you. Oh, and maybe this will be the right time for all my dreams to come true. I wanna make you my lady, make you my...
Why did you actually come back to Melbourne? You're successful in the United States.
For this little girl right here, because Los Angeles is a very polluted place in many, many, many ways. The air is polluted, the ground is polluted, the atmosphere is polluted. Look at that girl. Now, wouldn't you come home for that? I want to plant her in this soil. I want her to grow up here. I want her to have an Australian accent. Look at that face. Isn't that unbelievable?
Oh, is she Daddy's little girl or what?
She's my angel. I have a 20...
You've retraced the steps, and
yes,
the circus was certainly in your blood.
It was, and thanks to your show, actually, you know, I got a flood of calls, and they put together a reunion for me in April. And I was working with Hasselhoff in New York, and I flew back to Melbourne, only unfortunately for 2 days, and it was in the Kensington, in Holy Rosary Church in Kensington. And I got there, and suddenly, from only knowing 2 men called Holden in my life, my brother and my father, suddenly there's like 20 or 30 guys called Holden there. And it's because it turns out that Samuel Holden came to Australia from Ireland in 1854. And he had a bunch of sons, and one of those sons was the creator of the circus, Adolphus Holden, and he had 10 sons. And they toured Australia and Melbourne and New South Wales in the 1890s. Right, he died in 1939. And it turns out actually that one of his line, Michael Holden, was a drummer for the Mixtures. I didn't know that. He has a son called Kane. My son is called Kane. They're musicians, and it just goes on and on. Now it's a new time in my life. It's a really joyful time for me. It's a time to rediscover and reconnect with Australia, and I want to sing again. I've been in back rooms and in recording studios for 16 years. And I'd like to get out and sing. I'd like to act again. I haven't done any of that.
Okay, so it's time to like step in front of the camera again.
Yeah, lose 5 pounds and get up early, work out, and you know, be in front of the camera instead of in the studio eating pizza and staying up till 4 a.m. You know.
How hard is that going to be for you to you know, come back with a new look in the 90s?
I don't know. I've got age has taken care of the look, so not much I can do about that. I've got a lot of energy. I figure I'm young enough to, you know, invest my time now in Australia and hope that my daughter gets firmly planted here.
Oh, she's getting into the carnations. All those years later, they're coming back, Mark, to haunt you.
Well, actually, Peter Luck said that I had done for carnations what Dame Edna did for Gladys, so that can't be all bad.
Well, much success on your return home. It's
Thanks a lot,
wonderful
Kerrie.
to have you with us.
It's a great show that you've got too. It's,
you
know what it reminds me of? It's like a combination of Mike Walsh and Oprah. And I mean that in the best possible way.
Did I get the hair or the weight problem? Sorry. Oh, God, I'll hide you. Whip me. Terrific success, much more success to you.
Thanks a lot,
Welcome
Kerrie-Anne.
home. And your wife is Anna and little girl.
Anna and little Katie.
Welcome home, Anna and
Catherine
little
Wilhelmina Holden.
Terrific. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Holden.
Thank you.
I'm sure the audience out there would love some carnations. Wouldn't you love some carnations from Mark? Yes, go out there and do your bit. I mean, you're fabulous.
Thank you.